I was 16 when I first dipped my toes into the dark web. I wasn't some criminal mastermind, and I wasn't searching for anything sinister. It was boredom, plain, restless, teenage boredom. My friend Max had been bragging for weeks about how he'd found hidden websites where people traded secrets, leaked forbidden documents, and shared the kind of creepy stories you'd never stumble on through Google. He made it sound like the ultimate adventure. Against my better judgment, I let him show me how to download Tor and set everything up. The first few nights were anticlimactic. I spent hours clicking through link directories that were either dead ends, scam pages, or just plain boring. The so-called hitman for hire sites looked fake, the drug markets were unsettling, and the endless lists of .onion links felt like wandering a city where every other shop was boarded up. Still, the atmosphere was addictive. Even if half the stuff was fake, there was this intoxicating sense that I was peeking behind the curtain of the internet, seeing things I was never supposed to see. It was Max who mentioned the Chatrooms. He told me that's where the real dark web happened, not in shady marketplaces or broken links, but in live conversations with people who hid behind strange usernames and stranger intentions. One evening, after everyone in my house had gone to bed, I logged on and found myself in a place called The Hollow. The chat room had maybe a dozen active users, though others popped in and out, their names vanishing as quickly as they appeared. The usernames were cryptic, strings of numbers, half-words, inside jokes I couldn't understand. The tone was tense, quiet, like everyone was waiting for something. Messages scrolled by slowly, not the constant chatter of a normal forum, but deliberate lines of text that carried weight. I kept my cursor over the text box, debating whether to say something, but I hesitated. I didn't know the rules here. I'd read warnings online. Some chat rooms banned you for asking stupid questions. Others would target you if you acted naive. So I stayed quiet, watching. That's when someone with the username Bonelatch posted a link. It didn't look like much, just a random string of characters ending in .onion. But the message attached to it made my skin prickle. Click only if you want to know the truth about yourself. Immediately, the chat exploded. Usernames I hadn't seen speak all night suddenly typed frantically. Don't click it. He's doing it again. Ignore that. Get out if you're new. The warnings came so fast that the chat box blurred, but Bonelatch never responded. His link just sat there like bait on a hook. I stared at it for what felt like forever. My heart was pounding, my palms slick with sweat. I knew better. I'd read horror stories, malware that hijacked your camera, viruses that locked your computer, stalkers who traced your IP. Clicking random links on the dark web was practically begging for disaster. And yet, I couldn't look away. The way everyone warned against it made me want to see what was on the other side even more. The curiosity clawed at me until finally, with a shaky breath, I clicked. The page loaded slower than any site I'd ever visited, like it was deliberately dragging out the suspense. For a few seconds, the screen was pitch black. I almost thought it hadn't worked, until text appeared, glowing white against the void. Welcome, my real name. I froze. My blood turned cold. It wasn't my username. It wasn't the alias I'd created just for this session. It was my actual legal name, the one tied to my birth certificate and school ID. I felt the bottom drop out of my stomach. Somehow this link knew exactly who I was. I slammed my laptop shut so hard the screen flickered. My heart was hammering out of my chest, but I told myself it had to be some kind of trick. Maybe Max had pranked me. Maybe it was coincidence. But before I could even breathe, my phone buzzed on my nightstand. A text from an unknown number. I picked it up with trembling fingers and read the message. You shouldn't have clicked. I barely slept that night. Every sound in the house seemed amplified. The low hum of the refrigerator, the creak of pipes, even the faint whine of the wind against my window. My heart raced every time I thought about that text. You shouldn't have clicked. I kept telling myself it was just a scare tactic, some elaborate hoax designed to freak out kids like me. But deep down, I knew better. The way the message had come through, so fast, so precise, felt too personal to be random. When I finally drifted into a shallow, uneasy sleep, I woke up to my phone buzzing again. It was an email. The sender field was blank, and the subject line chilled me. Look up. For 10 minutes, I just stared at my screen, paralyzed. Curiosity gnawed at me, but dread made my hands shake. Against everything my brain screamed, I tapped it open. The body of the email contained no words, just an image. My breath caught in my throat. It was a photo of me, sitting in my bed the night before, staring at my laptop screen. The angle was from above, like it had been taken from the corner of my ceiling. But there was no camera up there. My skin prickled as I scanned my room. The walls, the shelves, the posters I'd had for years, everything looked the same. But the image proved otherwise. Someone had been watching. I panicked. I unplugged my laptop, tore my room apart, searched for hidden cameras, but I found nothing. My paranoia spiked so high that I unplugged everything, my TV, my console, even my desk lamp, thinking maybe something had been bugged. Nothing. Just me, alone, with an image I wasn't supposed to see. By morning, I was exhausted, but I still forced myself to get ready for school. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't know how to explain without sounding insane. But in the back of my head, every step I took, I felt eyes on me. Later that afternoon, as I sat in class, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a video file sent through the same unknown number. With shaking hands, I pressed play. It was me. Walking to school earlier that morning, headphones in, oblivious. The video was shaky, clearly handheld, and filmed from across the street. It followed me for blocks, zooming in on my face, my backpack, my every step. Whoever filmed it had been right there, close enough that I could have noticed them, but I hadn't. My stomach twisted as the video ended abruptly with me walking through the school gates. I wanted to throw up. I tried to reach Max, but he didn't answer my texts or calls. By the end of the day, I was in full-blown panic mode. I skipped the bus and ran home, sprinting so hard my lungs burned. Every car that slowed down, every stranger on the sidewalk felt like a threat. At home, I locked my bedroom door and sat with my back against it, clutching my phone. I wanted to believe it was a prank, but the level of detail, the precision, was too much. Hours later, another message came through. This time, it wasn't a photo or video. It was a simple line of text. "We like watching you panic." My chest tightened. Whoever this was, they weren't just tracking me. They were enjoying it, feeding on it. That night, I didn't sleep at all. Every sound in the house became a signal, every flicker of light a warning. I kept my curtains closed, lights off, hoping maybe darkness would keep me hidden. I sat with my phone in my hand, waiting, terrified. When the next message came, I almost screamed. "We're already inside your house." The words burned into my screen, and I felt cold, pure terror crawl through me. I wanted to check, to fling open my door and run, but my body refused to move. My mind was racing, every possibility colliding at once. Had they broken in while I was at school? Were they hiding in my house right now? The walls of my room seemed to close in. My own breathing sounded too loud. And then I realized something I hadn't before. The message hadn't just said, "house." It had said, "your house." Whoever this was, they weren't bluffing. They weren't some anonymous hacker halfway across the globe. They were close. Too close. The second story didn't come from me. It came from someone else. I found it 1 week later, while scrolling Reddit on a borrowed phone. I had deleted my account, wiped my laptop, and even smashed my old SIM card. But curiosity is a disease, and I couldn't stop myself from checking if anyone else had seen what I had. That's when I stumbled across a throwaway account, one with a username too random to mean anything. The post was buried deep in a thread about dark web regrets. His words were desperate, like he wasn't just sharing, he was warning. He said he'd been in a completely different chat room a few months before, not the Hollow, but another place that operated with the same silence, the same tension. Someone there had dropped a link. The message attached to it was eerily similar to mine. Click if you want to see what's hidden. He ignored the warnings and clicked. Just like me. The site had greeted him by name, too. His real name. He tried to brush it off, thinking it was a data leak or some creepy gimmick designed to scare people. But things escalated fast. Files on his computer started disappearing. Family photos, school projects, entire folders just gone overnight. Then, new ones began appearing. He swore he never downloaded them, but they were there. Videos, grainy recordings of his daily life, eating in the kitchen, sleeping in his bed, walking down the street. At first, he thought maybe his computer had been hacked and someone was splicing together stolen footage from security cameras. But then it got worse. He wrote about the letters. They started arriving in his mailbox, no return address, typed out on plain white paper. The first one just said his name. The second said, "We see you." By the fifth letter, they were listing the exact times he left school, the route he took, and even the clothes he wore. The final straw came when his younger sister found a USB drive sitting in their mailbox. She thought it was homework someone had dropped, but when they plugged it in, the screen filled with a shaky video clip. His sister, walking home from school, filmed from behind a tree. The stalker's breathing was audible, raspy and heavy, as though they were right behind her. His family packed up that week and moved 2 states away. He thought it was over. For months, nothing happened, and he began to believe maybe they'd finally been left alone. But then, one night, he found another letter taped to their new front door. Just 5 words. "You can't run forever." He ended his post with a chilling update. Don't click links. They're not just websites, they're doors. And when you open one, something steps through. I don't know if it's people or worse, but once they know you, they don't forget. Reading his words made my blood run cold, because every detail mirrored my own experience. It felt like we were part of the same experiment, caught in the same invisible web. He'd tried to escape, and it hadn't worked. After that, I deleted everything again. My Reddit login, my borrowed phone's browsing history, even my email. I tried to go dark, to disappear, but the paranoia stayed. I stopped sleeping. Every time I shut my eyes, I imagined the faint red glow of a recording light, a lens hidden somewhere in the corner of my room. I taped over my devices, unplugged my router, and still I felt exposed. And then came the final confirmation that I would never be free. Late one night, my phone lit up on its own. No ringtone, no vibration, just a glowing notification on the lock screen. I hadn't given this number to anyone. My hands trembled as I picked it up. The message was short, but it froze me in place. "You clicked." We never stopped watching, my vision blurred as I read it again and again. I knew then that it didn't matter how careful I was, or how many devices I destroyed, or how far I tried to run. I had already opened the door the moment I clicked, and whatever stepped through wasn't going back.